What's happening, beautiful people? My name is Crystal Holland, and I want to thank you for tuning into Inhabit My Eyes, learning how to heal through the stories of afflicted healers. This podcast will be a safe place to talk about deep and hard human questions centered around chronic illnesses, physical, mental, and spiritual health and wellness, spiritual abuse, and trauma. On this platform, we will discuss tools to healing holistically. Complex topics need complex solutions because humans are beautiful, complex creations shaped by complex lived experiences. This podcast is strictly for educational purposes. We are not licensed healthcare professionals. Please contact your primary care physician, therapist, or licensed counselor to get the professional help you need. This podcast will discuss topics that may cause a trauma response in you. Therefore, I suggest you seek professional support and pause on listening to any topics you're not prepared to navigate through until you have the necessary support to be successful on your healing journey. Thank you so much for choosing to listen to Inhabit My Eyes. Let's acknowledge, learn, grieve, heal, grow, build, and serve one day at a time. Hey, Lovely Life family. Welcome back to another episode of Inhabit My Eyes. It's your sis, Crystal. This is a platform to learn about the healing journey of afflicted healers, and we're going to unpack that word here in a little bit. This podcast is a safe place to talk about deep and hard human questions centered around chronic illness, physical, mental, spiritual well-being, spiritual abuse, and trauma. Now, this podcast is for educational purposes only. So if you have any concerns or some deeper help that you feel that you need, please contact your professional healthcare physician, a therapist, or licensed counselor to get the necessary professional help that you may need. And here we go. I'm so incredibly excited to introduce you all to an incredible man. Today, as you all know, that it is Crohn's and Colitis Awareness Month. And so we're going to be unpacking and learning what that means, what it is, and how it's affecting people from all walks of life. And so I want to introduce you all to a dear man and brother of mine, Deveion Buckner. Y'all say, what's up?
How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Glad to be here.
Yes, indeed. And so I met Deveion about 2 years ago. I had the privilege of having breakfast with him, and he was one of the realest cats that was not afraid to be raw about living with chronic illness. And I really appreciate your transparency and just your rawness about it. There have been people I've ran into that just weren't honest about what it's like walking, and I'm like, if I could just meet somebody that's going to be honest and
Right.
or what that's like, and you were out the gate just honest and straight up, and so I appreciate you for that, and I believe that you're really going to be a blessing to a lot of people. And so let's just kick it off. Who is Deveion?
Well, that's a loaded question. I'll try to answer the best that I can. I am a God-fearing man. I'm a father. I'm a brother. I am fearlessly and wonderfully made. I am a person that aspires to impact people's lives. Same thing you're doing, the same thing you do in my life. So I really appreciate that. It's really an honor and pleasure to know you personally. I think you are a very beautiful soul, you know. So, and I'm also, like I said, I'm 33, father of 3. A provider, leader, you know, I entrepreneur, you know, so I definitely am a person that's is fascinated with just creating, you know, something out of nothing, especially when, you know, you kind of have been brought into a life where the odds were stacked against you, right? And you don't have the best poker hand, but you got to know how to put on the best poker face, you know, to get through it. Do you know what I mean? And so, I I like God. I like my family. Well, I love my family more. I like them too. I guess you can love and like somebody, right? Because you can love somebody and not like them, I
That's
like
real.
and love them. So, I also, I got tons of siblings. As we connected through my aunt Trina, whom I know,
Yeah.
you and her are like really, really good friends, and you're her pastor. So that's an amazing thing to have a personal relationship with. One of the, somebody that God has appointed to be a high priest, and or whatnot on this earth for us and things like that. So that's an amazing thing. I wish I had a pretty strong relationship with my pastor. Oh, I got a pretty strong relationship with you. You're a pastor, so maybe we can strengthen that, so I like it. But either way, I enjoy sports. I love basketball. That's my go-to. And also I like things that give me quite a bit of challenge because it helps me grow, helps me learn. So, I love playing chess. I like having intuitive conversations with people, and they pick apart my brain, kind of like we're going to do right now. So that's why I'm really excited about this entire situation and helping you with this journey, because I love to be challenged mentally, spiritually, physically. So yeah, we got two sons and a daughter. My daughter, she's 12, seventh grade, going to Maranatha Christian Academy. And then I have and her name's Malaya. And then I have two sons, Emery and Ezra, and they're 3 and 4, two little knuckleheads. But either way, I like to tell people that they're all 3 of them are evenly split with the better portions of me. They all got those. And my biggest, I guess, most rewarding job that I have on this earth is being a father. So, I believe it's the most rewarding one. I absolutely love dad life. If I could have 20 kids, I would, if it's possible. I
Wow.
love kids. I'm that guy that wants to be very involved in my kids' life and have a relationship with all of them collectively and individually, so, because I learn from them as well too, so the biggest one is patience. I'm sure all parents across the nation could agree with that.
That's real.
So, but yeah,
Man.
anything you want to know specifically, just ask me.
Okay. I appreciate that. 20 kids, Deveion. Woo! We got to make
I
sure you
mean,
have a chef, a butler,
man, all
and
of that.
a never-ending income.
God said, "Be fruitful and multiply." I'm in the book of Genesis and Exodus, and them people wasn't playing with making kids.
They sure wasn't.
Man,
Well, man, I'm just looking forward to unpacking your journey. There's something very unique, particular to your story. So for our listeners and caregivers, really want to just dive into your story, Deveion, because out of everybody I've met, you're the first human, powerful man that I've met that you were hit in pediatric age.
Yep.
You were a young kid. And so if you can just, what was it like? What was going on in your life when your health took a turn, and how old were you?
All right. Well, I remember it was around like the spring or summer. I want to say probably like the top part of summertime, and we were taking a trip to Mississippi to visit my foster mom's uncle, who was like really sick, and so we all we all drove down there as a trip, and on the way down there, I got sick, and I just remember not being able to keep anything down. My energy was just drained, and it was very unusual for me because before then, like I was always considered the fastest, strongest, smartest kid on the block, very athletic, and whatnot. So, and I was that kid, that everybody wanted to play with and go to, and hey, be on my team and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I was thrilled to be that kid. It was good to feel like I was kind of, I guess, on top, So in my adolescence, like you said, and so I was 10 years old, and like I said, I couldn't keep anything down. Anything I ate, I would throw up, and I had extreme diarrhea. I was pained, like I said, just out of it, and I didn't know what was going on. And so I just kind of, toughened it out while I was down there. involved myself in any Mississippi-based activities that I could. And then we came back up and we went to our, my medical provider, which is Children's Hospital. And they first diagnosed me with salmonella. And
wow.
Yeah, that's what they diagnosed me with at first. And then I didn't get better after whatever medications they gave me or whatnot. I wasn't getting any better. And so, I to the point where I had to put on, some pull-ups, So think about this kid being the fastest, strongest, most athletic, don't get me wrong, I had a mouth on me too. So I talked a lot of mess to a lot of kids. So now I'm all kind of feeble, weak, lame, and I'm wearing a diaper because I couldn't control my bowels.
How old were you?
10.
10 years old. Wow.
Yeah, which is a pretty hard age, because as you should know, kids are pretty brutal and pretty brutally honest. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Either way, and I just remember going back to the hospital because the doctor was like, "Hey, we just need to do more extensive testing on him because, whatever's going on with him isn't salmonella because this should have subsided by now." So I'll never forget they did a very invasive test on me that was slightly traumatic. They had this long tube that they put up my rectum, that they had to put up my rectum. First, I'm laying, of course, that you're laying on a hard surface with a gown on, ain't nothing on underneath. So you're already humbled and real quick and slightly humiliated. At least that's how I felt as a kid. You said you want to dive into how I was feeling, what I was thinking. I do remember that. And, my mom trying to comfort me as best as she could, and I'm around a bunch of strangers and, white hospital lights, and like an operating room almost in a way. And they put this tube on my rectum, and then they loaded me up with this white substance so they can look through like a ultrasound kind of system to see how the thing was moving through my digestive system. And I just remember it being really uncomfortable because they was loading me up to the point where it hit all the way kind of my esophagus. So I was practically I was throwing it up. And and then they were trying to tell me to holding my hands down to restrain me because of course naturally I'm just trying to pull it out because I wanted to stop. And then once they got done whatever determination they were able to reach, they pulled it out and then they held me off the table. And I just remember running to the bathroom and pooping it all out and throwing up because it was coming out of both ends. And just remember shaking. Like I said, it was just it was just an intense test, and whatever. But I remember coming out of the bathroom, kind of tiptoeing because it was, throw up and stuff all kind of on the floor because I couldn't keep it all down and make it to the toilet in time. And I was sitting on the table and it was almost like a movie. I'm sitting there and there's this big white window. I can't hear anything that's going on. I know I see my mom, I see the doctor, and the doctor's talking to her. My mom dropped her head into her hands as a sign of disappointment or whatever she heard. She didn't like whatever news, so I knew something was bad. And that's when, they told me that I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. And of course, 10 years old, at that age, we think we know everything, but here I'm hit with something brand new. I have no idea what Crohn's disease is. All I heard was disease. And as a kid, you think, oh, you're going to die or something. So that's what I'm thinking, okay. And then I remember going home, just being to myself, didn't really want to talk to anybody. And then my grandmother called the house for me and she put me on the phone and then she, tried to get me to talk and told me everything was going to be okay and that God only gives his toughest battles to his strongest warriors. And I started crying and asking him, why would he do this to me? What did I do? And then again, like I said, I wore diapers for that next year. I was in diapers because I couldn't keep anything. I couldn't control my bowels. My bowels were too runny. And when I slept, and I remember just shooting down in weight. You could probably see possibly every bone on my body. And then literally within that week, of getting diagnosed, I went from never not even knowing what a pill was to taking 13 pills a day.
13 pills a day.
Yep, that was 13. They had me on Pentasa, and that was off rip. I had to take 9 of those because I had to take three times a day.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had me on prednisone, as you know, the very famous steroid. And then they had me on Zantac, 75, I guess, for like the heartburn. And then they had me on another like vitamin and like, I'm thinking like an iron pill or something like that I had to take, pretty much daily. And I was on the prednisone for like a long period of time. Yeah, because then I ended up swelling up like a blimp from all the water weight from that. To the point where like my own siblings couldn't even recognize me, because my face was so plumped. And I can honestly say that it completely shifted and changed like my character, like my spirit, my energy, all of it just like shifted. I don't feel as though I've been the same since. And I hate that about this, which is why I fight so hard to try to beat it, because it took something from me that I want to get back, which
Do
is
you
that
know what
spark.
it took?
I just felt like it took like that spark for me. I feel like I became a little bit more down, just a little bit more gloomy, a little bit more negative, a little glass half empty kind of guy. And I know that's not who I was. I know what life I experienced life before this. So I know who I was. I know, and I felt like I lost a part of me once it entered my body. And I do my best with not speaking that stuff on my spirit, on my life. So I tell people I'm diagnosed with Crohn's disease. I don't tell people I have. So I don't have anything. I didn't agree to this. So I just tell people I'm diagnosed. I'm very careful about that. I don't agree to this. I'm not going to. I believe that I'm going to beat it. I believe I'm going to cure myself of it. That's just what I believe. Even if everybody's looking at me crazy, I'm just not going to settle with saying this is it. I just can't live with that result.
So tell me how many years it's been, Deveion.
23, going on 24.
23, 24 years since your diagnosis.
Yeah.
So from the age of 10, so when you first went in, had I think it's barium. I think that's what they call it. That's what they were probably pushing through you.
Yeah, probably. I know it's like a white substance kind of thing.
Yeah. With that, from the time that you first got sick to the time that you were diagnosed, what was the time frame of that?
From the time I got sick, from the time I got diagnosed?
Yes.
It was all within like months at a time, because it just kind of just happened suddenly. And I later on discovered that my older sister was diagnosed with Crohn's disease at the same age as I was. And she's like 10, 12 years older than me. And again, like I said, I grew up in foster care. So, and it's like, my biological sister, like my Aunt Katrina's like niece. And found out that, she's also was diagnosed, like she's diagnosed with Crohn's disease as well, and had it pretty bad, and got diagnosed around the same time I did when I was her age.
Did you
so
find out immediately? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I said, did you find out immediately after being diagnosed that you had an older sibling with it?
I found out probably like a year after, maybe.
Okay.
Probably like a year after when I found out about that. Yeah, they told me. I can't remember who gave me that information.
Now, the one thing that you and I have in common is both of us, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, we're both twins.
Yeah, I'm a twin, yep.
Now, my twin was not affected. How is your twin?
No, he's not affected.
Okay. So from that time, 23 years down the road, how has your life changed as a result of Crohn's disease?
It's changed in a sense of my imagination, my ability to dream or pursue certain things, because basketball was life for me. And that's another thing that I've also learned along the way. Hopefully I don't digress, but it's I let doctors kind of shape what I was to become or who I was going to be, from what it is that I wanted. They almost basically like crushed those dreams from me. You know, they every time I went to go try to get a physical done to, you know, play sports for high school or whatever that level I was at, they gave me like poor recommendations because they didn't want me to play physical contact sports because they want me to run into the risk of, you know, getting my stomach hit or something like that. And I don't know, something rupturing, I don't know. So I just kind of deviated from, you know, pursuing basketball as much as I wanted to. And like, then I started picking up like, you know, golf and chess and stuff like that, things that's, you know, like leisurely stuff that ain't really contact sports, you know. And also it allowed me to look at life a lot more seriously, you know, to know that I'm not here to be playing no games or at least wasting my life away, you know, especially as insignificant as our lives are in the span of time and life itself, you know, you're here and gone within a blink of an eye. So, you know, it's like I said, I look at life through that lens now, and I have for the longest time. And it's affected the relationships in a not so good way that I'm not really proud of, you know. So I try to be very like cognizant of how I am when I'm around people, because I know energy is a big thing, you know, and I don't ever want to always be that person that's like being Mr. Negative Ned, and, you know, like, you know, like I said, like being too like hard on myself or too, you know, because I can find myself doing that a lot. And you know, I just sometimes got to just be to myself or just be with God and go on a spiritual walking or whatnot. And it also has caused me to be like more like, I want to say insecure, for lack of a better term, physically, you know, be it with all the weight loss and weight gain and all that stuff with your body, or your clothes, as you know, they'll fit. And a month from now, they just simply won't fit because you're too damn skinny to fit your jeans, you know. So it has caused me to look in the mirror a lot more, and sometimes even avoid mirrors. So, you know, it's brought me down to my knees, you know, but I just kind of just shifted that to say that's just God, you know, telling me to talk to him. But like, I've had some pretty dark days. I mean, not to the point of saying, you know, off myself, you know, take my life or anything like that, but just like wishing that I can just have a healthy body. I just want health. Like, what do I gotta sacrifice to get it? You know what I mean? Like, take the handsome stuff, bro. I don't need it. I don't care. Make me a freaking gargoyle. I don't care. I just want to be healthy, you know? So, you know, I got to chop off a hand, man, have it, take it. I'll do just about anything to get some health, you know. But it's also helped me to really speak real like life and nutrition into my kids. So I make sure that they're very knowledgeable and aware, you know, about health and nutrition and things like that. Because
you froze up on me a little bit.
Yeah. So, can you hear me now?
Okay, there you go.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can. I
Yeah,
can
let me
hear you, but I can't
get off
see you.
Wi-Fi, maybe. No, I turned off the Wi-Fi. Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. Okay.
I just can't see you.
I can't see you either, though. Hold on. Let me. It says stop video, but it doesn't. Hold on. Let me see. I don't know. That's weird.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, I can see you now.
Okay.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay. So, you know, and, you know, I know that, you know, and then that's when I started, you know, doing a lot of research on, you know, the gut, intestines, and just how, you know, all those, like that dopamine happy gene like that, you know, 80% of that or so is like found right in your gut, you know. And it's like, okay, well, this makes a lot of sense while I'm always feeling so down or negative, or, you know. And like I said, I don't want to, I know, like I said, I don't want to drive the people that love me the most away from me because of how I'm, you know, treating them. And it's just like, you know, sometimes I just can't control it, you know, even though in my head, I'm just like, Deveion, shut up. What are you doing? You're making the situation worse. But my anger is just going, you know, it's like, I know it's bad, and I understand that it's not okay. And like I said, I blame it on this. Yeah.
It's so much. You know, I was sitting and doing some research recently where the best way to rebuild serotonin in the intestines is to literally, you have to walk for 90 minutes just to rebuild the serotonin, the happy hormone back into the intestines, when that's where the war is. And then you need the energy to go and walk that 90 minutes. So it depends, you know. So with that in mind, how has it been for you, like building your support team? What does that look like for you over the last 23 years? Because that's hard.
Well, for me, it's not I'm one of those I can do it all by myself kind of guy, you know, and it has a lot to do with the way that I was brought up in foster care and having to do it by myself. You know, I had to teach my twin brother how to read a book and tie his shoes and ride a bike. And by the time I was 8 years old, I had to went to go teach myself how to cook, you know, so that me and my twin brother didn't miss meals, you know. So it's like, so I just been wired to just do things on my own, you know, unless I really, really do need help. But, you know, if I can crawl to go do whatever I got to do, I'll do that. I mean, you know, it's just not really good, because it's just like, I got to better myself at reaching out and asking people for help or assistance or guidance. Like I said, I guess me running across a few bad apples who have taken that vulnerable side of asking for help or assistance and like throwing it back in your face, you know what I mean? To use it as ammunition later on in an argument or disagreement is enough for me to be like, well, I'm not asking nobody for no real help. I'll just do it myself if I can. If I can't do it, then it's not gonna get done. But you know, like, I'm the person, I'll drive myself to the hospital. Like, that's just me, you know, stomach hurt and all, I'll get there myself, whatever, you know. So, which I did the last time. I just drove myself and parked in the hospital parking ramp or whatever. So, but like I said, I mean, you know, my grandmother, you know, and Tavani, and like, you know, my mom, and of course Auntie Trina. I mean, even you know, and my best friend, you know, if I needed them, you know, I know y'all be there for me, you know, if I really needed some help or assistance, you know. I just don't like to feel like I'm burdening people, because I know this is a huge burden on me, so I don't want to try to burden anybody else with this, you know. I'll just be looking at Crohn's like, nah, it's me and you in this ring. Don't worry about them. I'm not even going, you know, we gonna get it in, me and you. So
yeah, that's real. I mean, there's so many complexities around Crohn's. Can you share with the listeners exactly how Crohn's disease affects you?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a up and down thing, you know. As you already know, you go through the motions, and like I said, it affects me, and like I said, in the sense that, you know, it affects me, you know. I'm trying to overcome it by being more positive, you know. So I guess I tell myself, at least I'll never get fat, you know. I guess that's a plus. You know what I mean? Like, just laughing about it. But, you know, but it has affected me, because I mean, I've had to go under the knife twice. So I've had 2 surgeries due to it, you know. And currently right now, which, you know, really, I try not to let it break my spirits, but, you know, it's just really a huge pill to swallow, is that I may have to have a permanent ileostomy bag, you know. And I kind of feel like they're giving up, and I don't like that. But because, like, I got a stricture, like, really, like, right at the, like, kind of like the entrance of my rectum. And they're saying, like, well, hey, if we can't go in there, just like cut it out, because we wouldn't have nothing to attach it to once we cut it out. That's what they're saying, you know. And it's just like, you know, I feel like there's always a way, you know. But also, I'm a firm believer that the body can regenerate and heal itself. So, You know, it's like now me looking at other like holistic, you know, treatments or just treatments outside of the United States to see like what can help or aid in maybe, you know, helping me to heal or whatnot. And um, but either way, like I said, I'm not going to give up. I'm not accepting that answer.
That's real.
I'm not. So, but it's but either way, you know, like I said, it's affected. Like I said, my relationships. It affects because again, like I said, it made me as a a negative person, and I can't. I don't want to use the word hate, but I can't, I don't like it a lot, Miss Crystal. I don't. It's like, you know, because I want to be the light of my children's lives. You know, I don't want them to get to a point because I'm scolding them. You know what I'm saying, about stuff that I could let go or handle in a more, you know what I mean, like I guess positive or in receiving manner. You know, that they start avoiding me. I don't want my kids to avoid me or people in general because they feel like I'm gonna turn up on them or something, you know. And I'm just like talking to you like real conversation, like nobody's listening, you know. But like it's affected. It's a like I said, it's just affected me in those types of ways, and I just can't stand it. That's why I just want to try so hard to overcome it, you know, and just to say I won, and then just help people to win, you know. And yeah, so like I said, like my relationships, you know, the way that I view myself, and I believe I was a pretty confident guy, you know. And even now me, I'm you know, I've built insecurities, you know, mentally and emotionally and physically. And also, you know, I hate the fact that I got to take medication, you know. um I don't know, it's just, yeah, it's definitely changed me for sure. It's changed me, and not for the better. I'll admit that, not for the better. You know, so that's why I spend a lot of time by myself, so I don't have to hurt people or rub that negative energy off on people, because I understand people don't want to be around somebody like that all the time, you know, or just in general, you know, whether it's work or home or whatever. So I spend a lot of time by myself, you know, unfortunately sometimes. So
And
like,
I think also looking at Crohn's disease, yes, it's the physical aspect, but it's not just the intestines, you know. So for you, I don't know exactly what that looks like. Is it just your intestines? Do you deal with vomiting? Do you deal with the joint pain? Has your vision been affected? What symptoms do you contend with when you're flaring? Or
yeah.
even when you may not be in a severe flare, but it's
So
just
my
daily.
mhm. Yep. So mines would be the most common ones for me. Just of course the abdominal pain. But outside of that, I do get the joint pain. Or sometimes I wake up and I'm not even able to walk on my foot. You know, I know I didn't injure it while I was sleeping. You know, so for sure I get joint pain. Sometimes I'll get like little red spots on my skin that'll kind of appear out of nowhere. You know, and and headaches. You know, and
Okay.
and then on top of that, you know, like a weird one too is I know when my body's like getting really low on iron, because I've developed being anemic too while being diagnosed with Crohn's, is that I start craving soap. Like
So,
my body start craving soap.
okay.
And I used to, you know, I mean, I normally wouldn't tell anybody this because it's embarrassing, but you know, I told you, I promised you I was gonna be open. So, um, yeah, I would like lather the soap up in my hands, and my mouth would literally salivate, and that's like craving it like really hard. So I would just like lick the suds off my hands, you know, and it was going on for like years. But now I got that under control. I haven't done that in a long time. I think the last time I did it was back in like 2000, like 18 or something like that. So once I, you know, got like a iron infusion and all that stuff like that, and kind of got it under control. But that was another crazy thing that happened. I was craving like weird things like soap, you know, and eating soap and stuff like that. And, but other than the abdominal stuff, like because I go to the gym and I eat pretty right. I'm not saying I'm super disciplined, but I'm definitely getting more and more disciplined because I've actually just picked up a pescatarian lifestyle. So I've
Okay.
cut out chicken, pork, beef. I haven't ate none of that stuff in like 2 months. And if I don't do any seafood, which I don't even do that every day, I just do vegetarian, and
Okay.
then I fast for the first part of my day as well with just like tea and water and some fruits.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And like vegetable stuff, fruits and vegetables I know I can eat, that don't have like little seeds or anything like that in it. So typically that's used like all the melons, or like in like avocado, bananas,
Mm-hmm.
so and and then I juice as well too. So I definitely have a juicer and I got a blender here. So I make shakes or I juice up, a lot of fruits and vegetables as well. And just really like learning about like the different properties, learning about organic and vegetables versus, those hybrid vegetables or fruits and things like that. Just really just diving into just health and nutrition, so I can to educate myself and become more knowledgeable, so because although I appreciate our Western medication, I just know that's not the answer for everything. So it's not the answer for everything. So
So I'm sure over the last 23 years, you've probably had a plethora of treatments with many, many different medications. I know you
yeah,
mentioned a couple of the steroids and the anti-inflammatories. Have
yeah,
you ever tried any of the biologics, like the Remicades, the
all
Humiras,
of them, all of them.
all of it?
I've literally done all of them. There's not a one I haven't had. So the last one they got me on currently now is the Stellar. And I want to go as far as to say that Remicade is what got me that stricture down to my rectum, because that's what I was on when I developed that stricture down there, and that was back in 2015. And what was I gonna say? And I did research on the Remicade. What's up, son? I'm going to the bathtub. Malaya, you didn't run the bath water? She's gonna run
I
it for you.
love it.
Thank you. And so what?
Just, handling business as a father and telling your story. This is real. This is real life and managing it all. I see a lot of strengths in you, which I will unpack towards the end. I know I'm not face to face with you on a consistent basis, but
yeah,
I just think you're pretty dope, man. Just all the stuff
I
that you've
I
done.
appreciate it. That it's awesome as well. It's humbling to have people that see things in me that I've because of this disease that even myself have overlooked about my spirit or my character. So it's really humbling to and like refreshing to hear people speak life into me and have like genuine like positive things to say about me, because I don't believe in crossing people. I don't have enemies. I don't believe in, like I'm one of those people. Anything that I can say behind your back, I can say to your face. You know what I mean? I'm one of those guys, and I'm a straight shooter. And I want and expect people around me to operate the same way, and I make sure that I'm dependable. I make sure I'm reliable. I'm trustworthy, and so I'm a lot of people's favorites and like a lot of people's best friends, and I get it, because I know I'm coming with something genuine, and authentic, and so yeah. So it's like I said, it's just really, like I said, humbling, and it's an honor to just be a part of those people's lives as well, and but no, back to the medication. I've been on all of them. I've been on the Remicade, the Cimzia, the Stellara, what was the one that you get when you're got to go to the hospital and get the IV, get it in the IV.
So there's Humira, there's Remicade.
Yep, I did all that. I did Stellara, Cimzia. I've done all of those. Yep, I've done all of that. So right now, like I said, I'm currently on Stellara, and they got me on a high dosage. They're typically supposed to only get it. You're supposed to get it one shot every 8 weeks. And I've been getting one shot every 4 weeks for like 2 years now. And they got me on
So
like the
on
highest dose.
average, how many times a year would you say on average for you're in the hospital?
Not counting that 1 year when I was in there every month, I'd probably say like once or twice a year.
Okay.
or twice a year. I don't think that's bad.
Well, I think 2019 was probably, I know you and I have discussed, that was like one of our worst years.
Yeah, that's the year I was, like I said, I was in there like every single month.
Yeah.
For like 5 days straight. It was almost like clockwork. Every 3 weeks I had to go back in.
Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yep.
well, that year was awful, but thank
Yeah,
God we're here. We made it through.
Yeah, it was bad. I lost like 50, 60 pounds.
Yeah.
Like my body wasn't absorbing any nutrients. Like they was almost gonna like legit give me like a feeding tube. That's what they was saying. I was like, man, if we can't swallow the stuff or get it, you're gonna have to put it right in your give your feeding tube right in your stomach. I'm like, nope, not tolerating that.
Yeah.
I said, give me that food. And I'm going, I just started getting it down. I'm not doing that.
How was your experience? I know this isn't something we discussed, but how has your experience been as a man of color, the Black man in the healthcare world? How has that been for you?
It's been fair just because I choose to speak up on it.
Okay.
That's why. And I'm not one of those, like I said, I'm not, we have this whole Minnesota nice stigma thing, and that's not me. I'm not that passive aggressive type dude. Like I'm gonna sit down and talk to internal medicine. We're gonna talk about this, and I'm gonna let y'all know that I know about the statistics and the the underlying, like racist treatments and all that stuff like that. I put people on blast. That's just me though. I don't expect everybody to act like me. And it's a respectful conversation. I'm not coming in there, disrespecting you and your profession. I'm just letting you know, listen, like I'm not in here faking no pain. I'm not faking no injuries. I'm not doing any of that stuff. You can look at my tests, you can see all that, so they once I have that conversation with them, those walls or whatever's coming down, and they let me know at the end of that conversation that they respect what I have to say, and that if I need anything, or whether it's pain meds and whatever I need, let me know what I need, and they will give it to you. So I
you
make sure I
learn
get
to
an understanding.
advocate for yourself. I mean, but that's been part of your story, as you mentioned, growing up in the foster care system. You had no choice but to learn how to advocate for yourself.
Exactly. So I say, who's the person that's in charge of internal medicine on this floor? Bring him to my room when he's ready, or he or she, and we talk, because I need my respect, and I need to be treated fairly. I don't care what type of insurance I got on, nothing. All y'all took a Hippocratic oath, so let's take care of me to the best of my abilities. I don't care. So they like I said, they give me what I asked for. After that, whatever I request. They're like, you need the morphine, you need the Dilaudid, you need the oxycodone. Let me know what you need and how much dosage and whatever else. And of course, within like the regulated guidelines of how much I can get within, a 4-hour span or whatever, then they'll do that. But I speak up. I don't have time for that. For to be getting judged and, mistreated because you think because I'm African American that I do have a high pain tolerance. That don't mean I should be in there and taking it though and enduring that. So I'll speak up. I don't have time for that.
Yeah, I hear you. I sit and think about, and this was something that I had to learn about myself, because as you mentioned, dealing with a high pain tolerance, I was struggling to even ask for pain medication. I actually had a doctor come to me and he's like, based upon the test that we just took, why in the world are you not asking for pain medication? I'm like, yeah, this is how we live. Exactly. But it just didn't dawn on me to ask. And then when I actually had pain relief, I was like, oh dear God, I didn't realize I was walking around like this for so long.
Yep. So that's how it is right now. So yeah, like you said, I just like I said, it's just all about a conversation. And if people are having conversation and exchanging dialogue with other individuals to seek understanding, then once you bring them to your level of understanding, then y'all come to a level of respect, respecting one another as human beings. Like I said, to me, it tears down all those walls, and or whatnot. And, because it's almost just like, I know what's going on. I'm not going to allow this to happen to me, so I'm going to speak up on my expectations while I'm here, so like I said, I mean, it's worked in my favor to, like I said, speak up on those things. And then because I let them know too, like, I don't want to get to this thing get to a place where you guys start making these assumptions and to think that I say, because I'm being honest, I'm a little afraid to even ask for pain medication, and And I explain why, because of, what, people like us got to, go through or deal with, or even just the history of that. So it's like, I'm like, and I don't want to live in fear or while I'm under you guys' care, so will that be a problem for you? Oh, no, sir. No, 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 not at all. Okay. Just making sure, man. We just trying to make sure we got an understanding. That's all. So it's, but yeah, so they were like, yep. And, but then I'm a very selfish person too. Like I get it. I'm not the only person in this hospital or on the floor. I get that the nurse has other people that they need to see, so, cause I'm just really big on customer care and just, care in general, so I shouldn't have to hit this button 3-4 times to get somebody to come over here, man, to take care of me, so like I said, I'm just the person that speaks up on that. But I mean, of course, I stay in the guidelines of respect. I'm not in there to disrespect anybody. So,
Good deal. What would you say you've learned about yourself, pros and cons, living with chronic illness?
I've learned that I have a lot of patience. I learned that I am stronger than I give myself credit, mentally, physically, and spiritually. I learned about myself that just how fascinating our bodies are. Like we were walking around with a highly advanced, like we're just a highly advanced like organism, like, and it's helped me to open my eyes to understand just how much your body's willing to fight for you and protect you until your last breath. And it's just like, why am I not giving my body the proper tools it needs to fight when I know it's trying to help me, It's like, I truly don't believe in the whole autoimmune thing and your body's attacking you. I don't. I just think it's a narrative they try to run. That's the whole nother conversation though. But I've also learned my level of like perseverance. I've learned, I've learned to also treat people with more compassion and care and kindness, because me knowing what we walk around with is like, I have no idea what you're walking around with. It doesn't have to be an illness. It could just be, life circumstances or, some traumatic, things that you've, have endured or experienced. And it just teaches me to be more patient and compassionate to other people, and I've also learned, like I said, to be like a real selfless, because I understand and know that a lot of things are, 90% of things in life, it ain't all about me, and so
yeah,
that's probably the biggest one that I have learned. It's just it teaches me to be more kind to people, and patient and understanding, to people, which is probably why a lot of people gravitate towards me, because that's how I go through life with people and whatnot. And I'm not saying I'm a life coach or nothing like that, but a lot of people, they come to me for advice or come to their peer, and because they want to hear what I have to say, because they value my opinion, or my advice. And yeah, that probably sums up what I've learned about myself.
Okay. What would you say to somebody today? How would you encourage someone being newly diagnosed with Crohn's or colitis?
I would let them know that life can continue with this, that it's not the end of whatever dreams or journeys that you have embarked on, but I will always, always, always encourage them to educate themselves. Don't just, the people in the white coats, man, they're literally only 10%, if not, and that's at the most. You probably see your specialist maybe twice out of the year. You know what I mean? And so it's like, you need to do the work. Don't just rely on what they said and the prescription they prescribe to get you through this. Like you said, to get you a solid support system. That doesn't mean a ton of people. That just find you some solid people that you are comfortable enough to open up to about what you are walking around with. Because a lot of they call it the invisible disease for a reason, where we look fine, but you know what I mean, mentally and physically, emotionally, we can beat down, and
yeah.
So that's what I would do. Educate yourself, get you a solid team, especially some people that you can just go to and also, man, just and tap into some mental health services if you need to. Get a therapist, and I think people don't speak about that enough. Get a therapist, man, and really, learn how to to navigate your emotions, and how to, cope with, different coping mechanisms, healthy ones, because you don't want to, a coping mechanism shouldn't be beating the hell out of your kids and, getting into physical arguments or like with your spouse, and just find, things like that. Find, relatable, maybe some groups on Facebook. I don't recommend all of them. Some of them just, that's a whole nother conversation. But they make me not like people walking around with Crohn's. They used to be so negative sometimes, but that I had to remove myself from those groups. I don't recommend those ones, but just finding some genuine people, like I said, within your, like, in your network, your community, and educating yourself, like read up on the body, read up on your body, and then also figure out a nutrition plan that works for you. Not everything is not just one set things. Find what works for you, and develop you some discipline and take it day by day.
Yeah.
Hell, even if that means take it hour by hour, so.
That's good. So I'm looking forward to your response to this next question, because you are a straight shooter. What is the biggest misconception about you? What do people get wrong about you?
That I'm stuck up, arrogant, and mean. Because I get it. My demeanor sometimes, I don't seem like the most approachable. Hey, Emery, keep your voice down a little bit. Just that I'm that person, until they actually sit down and have a conversation with me, and they're completely wrong about all the like, misconceptions that they had, just by judging me, by looking at me, and that I'm probably, I'm saying I'm gonna easily be probably one of the top 5 coolest people you probably ever met. So like, just come holler at me, talk to me, reach out to me. I don't care how high the seat God places me on. I'm never gonna be too high enough to be looking down on anybody. So just talk to me. I believe I'm a very humble, very understanding, very logical, realistic person, and I'm cool with all walks of life. I don't judge. I'll respectfully let you know it's not my cup of tea personally, but I'm not here to judge you, man. I'm not that. That's for God to do. That's between you and God. That ain't got nothing to do with me, but that's probably it. That's probably the biggest misconception or whatnot, or people perceive me, until they get to know me. And they're like, man, I was really wrong about that dude. He's super cool. It's like, yeah, man, just come talk to me. That's all. Yeah. That's all.
Let me tell you, the first time we met and we were having breakfast, and I didn't say this to you when we were eating breakfast, but you said out loud what I could only say to my husband. And there's been so many misconceptions and misreading about me. And because you have to protect yourself when you're dealing with chronic illness, protect your mental space, your physical space, because a lot of people don't understand, people that battle with chronic illness, it don't take much to set our systems off.
Nope.
And so I would say this one comment to my husband all the time, and you were the first person that said it. And you were eating and you laid back in the seat, and I can't remember the question I asked you. And you put your fork down and you said, ain't nobody worth a hospital visit.
Nobody.
I was like, oh my gosh, I've only said that to my husband. And I was like, he's my people. That's my tribe. He gets it. And so I really want to encourage a listener, caregivers, and if you're battling with chronic illness, understanding that you have to protect your space, regardless of people's misconceptions, because at the end of the day, it costs you at the end of the day. And so I just appreciate you saying that out loud, but that's one of the things that I appreciate about you is your honesty. Based on what you know about Crohn's disease now and your journey, what would you tell your younger self?
I would have gotten educated way quicker on nutrition. I would have educated myself on nutrition way sooner. I believe that my course and direction would have taken a huge turn in a better direction had I would have educated myself on nutrition right out the gate, instead of just going off of what they were telling me, keeping everything low roughage and, avoid these foods and seasoned food, spicy food, and that's that, like, and just listening to them because they were, to me, the professionals, they were the experts. So it was like, okay, well, you guys know what you're doing. I don't know. So it's just not saying not to trust them, but it's just like, going in, seeking that information and that knowledge for yourself is what I would have done. I would definitely be like, man, if you don't go in that library and go, you know what I mean? Like rent you some biology books and learn about your body, and learn about food and nutrition and everything like that. Cause that whole food pyramid is a complete scam. And yeah, like I said, that's a whole nother conversation.
Yes.
They're just misguiding us, and just learning, the real importance of the FDA. You got somebody that's controlling the food and the drugs. That's that. They control you, so it's just really, like I said, I would tell my 10, 12-year-old self to educate myself on nutrition. And establishing, a few solid stress relieving techniques, because that's another thing that people overlook, is that stress is literally the number one, trigger. That's why I tell people, that's why I came up with that slogan, "You're not worth the hospital visit." Because I tell anybody that. I told my boss that last week. I don't care. You're not worth the hospital visit. But you're just not. I'm just not even gonna give you that energy because you're not worth it. So I look at that food or that liquor or whatever, y'all ain't worth no hospital visit. So I don't have time for that. I'm the one who got to suffer. Y'all gonna just grab your little hangover. The next morning y'all be straight after y'all drink a little bit of water and get some food. Me, I gotta go strap up to an IV. It ain't worth it. So, but that's what I agree. Stress relieving techniques. Ezra, keep your voice down. Ezra. I don't think he can hear me. That's my wild.
He's having fun, Daddy.
Yeah, he don't hear me. But either way, that's it. Stress relieving techniques to make sure that I can manage the stress levels a lot better, and understand, also understanding that I don't need to fight every battle. You know what I mean? And then, like I said, nutrition. That's what I would tell my 10, 12-year-old self. That's it for sure.
So for 10-year-olds, any youngsters out there, battling this, Deveion is giving you hope. Here he is 23 years down the road. It's been hard. God knows it hasn't been easy. Oh,
trust. It's been an uphill battle with slippery slopes and treacherous rain and wind. But I mean, we still climbing. There's always a way. The way I look at it. So, and another thing that I've been working on as well, that I think I told you about, but I kept, I'm still like chipping away at it, is I'm providing, like a platform and services on a pediatric level, for kids that are diagnosed with Crohn's disease or whatnot. And, I'm going to start partnering up here with the children's hospitals and all that stuff like that, and to creating, like I said, a platform, just like with content, whether it's visual content on YouTube or like little books and things like that, like short story books to help kids to educate themselves, to help guide them in the right direction, because like you said, it can be a very scary thing to be a child and being diagnosed with an illness, especially one that you wasn't born with, so and because, like I said, because I think it was a conversation I had with you that actually sparked that idea, because you just allowed me to kind of just go back and think, just like what you did today. So I appreciate that, to navigate how I felt and what was going on. And, and I just I think about my children. I would never want them to experience that, and I would never want them to experience that. I wouldn't wish Crohn's disease on my worst enemy. That's how bad I think it is. I don't care. It's that bad to me. I wouldn't wish it on them at all. you know, and so that's what I'm doing. I'm creating like content and narrative, like little short story books. So I'll probably, you know, connect with you, of course, outside of this to kind of let you know, especially if something you want to be a part of, you know,
Definitely.
more and more, you know, just like I said, to help these little kids out, you know, and
That's
give them
real.
a place to go to that they can run to as a resource, you know, instead of just listening to their pediatrician and their pediatric gastroenterologist, you know, so.
So real quick, Deveion, so, and then we'll get ready to wrap up so you can go and be daddy.
Yeah.
For parents, like as a kid, were there things that you had to walk away from, but today you realize you really didn't have to? And for like a parent that may be kind of overbearing because they're trying to educate themselves, they're scared, they don't want to lose their child, just because you're a father now, you understand what it is and the emotions and the weight and the responsibility of parenting and protecting your kid. Are there any words of encouragement or suggestions that you would give to parents when navigating this with a child, to keep, not hold them back so that they can still thrive in the midst of battling
I
IBD?
would, yep, I would definitely let parents know to talk with their kids and value their input and their opinion. You know, let them allow your child to have a say so on the direction that their life needs to go still. I understand that you're coming from a place of protection, because my mom did the same thing, you know, and just ask them, you know, just, you know, create a separate relationship that, you know, involves their illness and their new diagnosis, to formulate, like I said, a solid um, line of communication and trust, you know, and trusting that your kid is going to make, you know, trust that they'll make the best decision, because I would have never deviated from sports. You know, I would have never deviated from sports, and because I listened to the doctors and I listened to my mom, I did that. I would have never deviated from going to that HBCU that I got accepted to, you know, but my mom feared that the medical system down in Florida, because I was going to go to Florida A&M, she feared that the medical system wasn't good enough, and she put fear into me, and so I stayed up here and didn't go down there. And so I regret not going to HBCU, because my mom talked me out of it because of Crohn's.
So would you say it was your fear or more your parents' fear that was projected onto you?
It was my parents' fear, because I was all with it. I was all with it with like playing basketball, and I still did basketball. I just stopped by the time I got to like the 10th grade. I just stopped and just did it recreationally, and then like do it on a more of like competing level. But like I said, I would have been more into like training and really like going that direction, and you know, and even like pursuing the college that I wanted to pursue, because I wanted to go to HBCU very badly, and she talked me out of it because of her fear of me getting sick, and I'm down there and you don't really have any family and whatever, you know, I don't know how you don't, that medical system. And I'm like, man, she's right, because I know Minnesota does have like one of the best, if not the best medical, you know, like kind of system in the United States. So, and so, yep. So I would just say, encourage them to actually sit down and exchange dialogue, talk with your kids, see what they want to do, and try to come and always try to meet some respectful, happy medium where, you know, both parties can be satisfied with the outcome, you know, and just do it together. Let them know that you're there to support them, and just be more, you know, be more of a teammate with them, you know, to tackle it together, you know, whatever decision that they decide, you know, and not just shun them out because, you know, you're the adult, and so you feel you know more, because you're coming from a place of protection and, you know, safety and security and love. And it's like, you know, so that's all I would probably say.
Okay. Well, man, it's been so good. I could keep going with you for probably like 2-3 hours, but you know, for our listeners, this is going to be an ongoing conversation. We're going to hit some pretty intense topics because this is ongoing. It's been part of our journey. Have a lot to share and impart, to let you know that irregardless of the fight, that there's a possibility to thrive, and it looks different. It's not supposed to look like everybody else's. There's complexities around it, but we're doing it and we've learned a lot. And so, Deveion, you've hit it from a whole nother angle, from growing up in the foster care system, finding out that you had a sibling that had it, and then as a man navigating through this as a father, And we didn't even get to truly unpack all of that. And so we're going to continue this conversation down the road. So
For sure.
for our listeners, definitely stay tuned for that. Do you have any closing remarks that you want to just say to anybody or say to the world about you, your story, or just any words of affirmation, encouragement for someone?
Yeah, I just want to encourage any and everybody who's listening. I just want to encourage to go to God, seek God in everything you do. You know, at this point in your life, you know, just even with battling, you know, this illness, you know, or have a loved one that's battling that illness, you know, just always, like I said, go to God, see and see if and make sure that God's a part of the equation, you know, and just always just strive to just to find a way. Like, don't have an exit strategy kind of mindset with life, or just with this, or just giving up. You know, always have hope, always have faith. You know, always, you know, be positive. And if you're running out of that, then that's, again, go to God, go to your support system. That's what they're there for, you know. So and try to avoid a support system that only supports and feeds your ego. You know, get you some solid people that are going to tell you the truth. You know, they're going to speak real life into you. They're going to tell you the truth because they want the best for you, you know, even if it's going to be hard to hear. And that's who I surround myself with. And that's why I make sure that I am, you know, and always make sure you hold yourself accountable, you know, with the decisions that you make with this illness. You know, if it's okay, sometimes you might slip off the mark because you decide you want to live a little, and that's totally okay. But you need to understand that you are fully aware and accepting to the consequences that may come with that. You know, you may dodge the bullet, but you know, you understand that there's something that comes with that. So just taking accountability and just making sure that you can always get back on the saddle, even if you get off, no matter how much you stumble. The same thing with God. We always fall, you know, by the glory and the grace, because, you know, that's just, we're born in sin. It's the same thing. Use that same concept with this illness. You know, if you fall off and you stumble, just get right back on track. Just get yourself right back on track. Just keep disciplining yourself. Forgive yourself. It's okay. Forgive yourself. The same way God forgives, forgive yourself, and get back up and try to do better the next day. It's okay. You know, it will be okay if you believe that. You just have to believe that in every bit of your being and your spirit, that it's going to be okay. You know, but you got to also work, because faith without work is dead. So put in the work. You can't just be sitting there thinking it's going to be okay. You got to make sure it's okay. You know, so just like I said, just get prayed up, get God up, get a good support system. And like I said, just take it moment by moment, until you are disciplined enough to take it day by day, and then week by week, and month by month, and so on. You know, start small, just start small. So that's what I was.
I'm gonna pull on you one last thing for that caregiver that's frustrated, irritated. It's been a long time. They're not in their loved one's body, so they can't feel it, but they're on the outside seeing the suffering, and they're just tired mentally, physically. What would you say to them?
I would tell that caregiver to go and talk with them. And what I mean by talk with them, I'm not saying go to express how you're feeling to them, because I'm gonna just be honest with you, people that's diagnosed with Crohn's disease like us, we're not trying to hear, because we're actually living with it. So I'm just being honest, we may not be really, you know, like receptive to like hearing it. We might not receive it, but go and ask them open-ended questions, you know, and just say, hey, what can I do, you know, in this situation, you know, when you are, you know, in pain? What is it that you need from me? You know, you figure out how you can be a vessel to them, you know. And I'm not saying allow us to walk over you or say anything to you that may, you know, go against with any morals or maybe to disrespect you in any kind of way. But just like I said, just ask open-ended questions, you know, to figuring us out, you know, especially if that person is comfortable enough to talk to you about Crohn's. A lot of us are not, you know, we just not. We're gonna keep it to ourselves, you know. But I know me, like I said, if you know, someone comes to me and they ask me open-ended questions that, hey, you know, I'm noticing that you're holding your stomach a lot more. I'm noticing, you know, that I see your face kind of frowning up. You're in pain. Like, is there anything you need from me? How can I better assist you? Or do you want me to give you space or anything like that? You know, and then, you know, if it's something that's really weighing in on you, you know, where you are getting flustered or frustrated with looking in on outside, looking in on the symptoms or your loved one kind of suffering or whatnot, to just just say, hey, you know what, help me to help you to help us, so I don't want to, because I don't want to add any more pain or anything to you, that you're already dealing with. But I will say that it kind of takes a toll on me, but I'm never giving up on you. Always let them know that you're not giving up on them, because when I know, for me personally speaking, on a personal experience, when somebody talks like my illness is becoming like a burden to them or a problem to them, I'm immediately shutting you out. So I'm probably never going to ask you for help again. That's just me. And I'm sure, a lot of people in the crowd could probably relate to that. So, like I said, it's just ride that fine line of just like saying, hey, I want to make sure that I'm always able to show up and show out for you. So, when these things arise or whatnot, or how do you prefer me to do these things? Like, just ask for their input, like I said, because you're a team, so tackle it together. And that's probably the best thing to do, is just to come in and ask open-ended questions. Don't make assumptions. That's the worst thing you do with somebody who has Crohn's disease, is assuming how much pain they're in. You assume what's going on with them. Don't ever tell them, man, my stomach was hurting so bad last night, man. I finally know how you felt. That's the worst thing you can say to us, because you'll never know how we felt. You won't experience it on the level that we have, But like I said, just be cognizant, and like I said, ask open-ended questions and try to, hit it in an angle of like positivity, because you want to reach a solution. So if you come trying to find a solution with that person, I think you should do pretty well, and I can only speak on personal experience, so that's what I would say to like a caregiver, just go sit down, and like when they're in that space of capacity, because of course, when we're going through a lot of pain and anguish, we don't want to be talked to, probably don't even want to be touched. So I know that's me. So it's like, just give me a minute, or just say, hey, I'd rather somebody, hey, Deveion, do you have a moment or whatnot to, the chat or whatnot? And, I'll definitely give you my time. And then we can figure out a solution together to helping me, so we can help us together, so, because again, it can be mentally draining on, the caregiver, especially when all they want to do is make the pain go away. And of course, they don't have that simple fixed solution to helping that pain go away, so I get it, so just ask how you can be a vessel, how you can be assistance to them. What can you do? Hey, what can I do on my end, to help or assist you, when you're in these kind of, situations. And then also assuring to them and affirming to them that they can come to you. Hey, just so you know, I understand that you're a very strong person, but I want to let you know you can come talk to me. If you got anything, you need help with anything, and I can help you with anything, just reach out to me, yell my name, call me from the phone, text me, whatever it is you need to do. That works for you on the communication side, and I got you, because that's very refreshing to hear. I know it is for me, even though I don't do it often, but it's very refreshing to always hear, to know somebody will be there to help you, and they don't want anything in return, but to just see you do better, So I try to strive to be that person. I just help people just because I just want to see them do better. I don't, even financial or whatever, I don't tell people to pay me back. I'm not, my friendship is worth more than $100, bro. Keep the 100. Just do better.
Well, I think you made a huge point, because I think when you're caring for someone all the time, it's easy to forget that they're not just the illness they're fighting. Yeah. We're brilliant. We have gifts. We have parts of us that are adding to you. And so that's huge. When you tap into that part of us, that's also what fuels us to keep fighting, because we're fighting for something else other than trying to live and to thrive in the midst of the suffering.
I can guarantee you, major. To go with what you said, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I guarantee you, my fight is not because of me. I like you said, you need some external source to tie that fight to, because if I put it on myself, I'd have gave up a long time ago. Man, so I know it's for God and for my kids. That's my why. I that's it. So it ain't for me. I can guarantee you that. I'm not even gonna pump fake to y'all. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I would have gave up on myself a long time ago. So,
man. Well, I appreciate your transparency. I have to release the words of affirmation. Thank you for not giving up, staying in the fight, and saying yes to being a father, a man that's trailblazing in a season of so much chaos and fight, being a voice for those that are voiceless. Sure. releasing wisdom and strategies for people that are in the fight, physically, mentally, spiritually. You know, you have a lot of wisdom nuggets, and those are pearls. Can't sow them to everybody, can't throw them to the pigs, you know.
Not
and
at all.
so don't step to Deveion if you swine, if you're not going to cherish the words like they are, the pearls that they are. And the suffering and you are a resilient man, and the ability to persevere and to be able to teach others how to do it. And so in spite of what Crohn's has tried to hand you, you have so much fruit to serve others. So thank you for staying in the fight, man. And I'm looking forward to what we're going to continue to do down the road.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely always looking forward to it. And whenever you need me back, you know, if the viewers listening in, they requesting me back, I'll come back. I got y'all. So.
Right now, do you have any special projects or anywhere if like anybody just wants to connect with you, where can they find you?
You can find me I'm on Instagram and Facebook, Fueling Your Gut, FUELING YOURGUT. That's my Facebook page. And then that's also my Instagram as well, if you want to connect with me there as well. And then my personal Facebook, Deveion Buckner. I believe I'm the only Deveion Buckner on all of Facebook, but I'll spell that out. It's DEV as in Victor, EION, Buckner, BUCKNER. I think I'm almost at capacity with friends there, but you can definitely still hit me up there. I think I got a pretty, you know, pretty solid following. So I got, you know, people that engage and connect with me on there. So, you know, I could probably free up some space for some of y'all if y'all really want to get on the friends list, but understand it's raw and it's uncut and it's real. So I'm gonna be me on there, respectfully. So, but either way, you know, all jokes aside, you know, Instagram, Facebook, you know, or whatnot. So you can definitely hit me on those social media platforms if you have those. My email is just my first and last name at yahoo.com. So Deveion Buckner at yahoo.com if you prefer email as well. So yeah, I'm here to help people that keep their cups empty and always are thriving for knowledge and seeking understanding and educating themselves. I'm always down to talk to those people all day long. You got my attention all day long. Or you could just ask Miss Crystal for my information and she'll give it to you. So
good deal. So we'll have your information in the footnotes. Again, I just want to thank our listeners for tuning in. Shoot me an email, any questions that you have. Deveion will definitely be consistent. We'll hear a lot from him because he has a lot to pour out and to give and knowledge and wisdom. And so you can check us out on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, YouTube, all the podcast outlets. Thank you all again so much for tuning in. Let's heal, let's grieve, let's build, let's continue to teach others, and above all, let's love. Let's continue to love hard. We love you. God bless you all, and let's keep living, keep thriving.
All right. Have a great night. For having me.